Alright, so today we're going to be working on Microsoft Word Independent Project 1-5. And to get to that, it is in the modules area, Module 3, Assignments, and M3, Independent Project Exercises. We're going to be working in the book, out of the book. We're going to get the instructions out of the book on page 221. And it says you will be creating a memo for the Sierra Pacific Community College District. We're going to use the value statement -01A and value statement -01B. So I'm going to go ahead and download those to my computer. Alright, if you're on page 221 in the book, looking at the instructions, step 1 says open the value statement -01A document from your student data file. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And right now it's in protected view. The way that you would know that it's in protected view is, for one, it's telling you to enable editing. But if you read this little protected view message, it tells you why it's in protected view. And another way is if you look in the title area of the document, you see that it says protected view. So to get out of protected view, you just click enable editing. Step 2 says save this document as your initials space Word space 1-5. So to save it, since it already has this name right here, we're going to need to go to File, Save As, and wherever we're going to place it. Alright, I'm just going to keep it in my Downloads folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that. Put my initials in there. Word space 1-5. And I always like to tell students to make sure that they write down the location of the file. So it's on the C drive in the user folder, in my folder, downloads, and it's going to be in here. So always make a note of where you're putting the file at so you know where it is. Step 3 says copy text from another document and paste it into the current document. 3A says open the values statement -01B document from your student data files. So it's out here. I'm going to go to the B file. So that one, I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to take it out of protected view. 3B says select all of the text in this document and copy to a clipboard. So if I wanted to do it the long way, I can hold down my left mouse key and drag everything to the end of the document. You see that it's highlighted all the text that I have selected. Or if I wanted to do it the easy way, I would just hold down my control key and select A, and that selects everything. And to do a copy, I could either right mouse click on the text that I have selected and select copy. I can also go to the Home tab in the clipboard group and select the copy ribbon. Or I can do a Control C, and that copies the text that I have highlighted. Alright, step 3C says close the values statement -01B document without saving. So I'm going to make sure that I'm using the value statement 01B file, and I'm going to close out of it. It didn't ask me to save. Step 3D says in the your initials Word 1-5 document, press enter at the end of the document and paste the copied text from the clipboard. So I'm going to go to the end of the document, which is opportunities and then the period, and then it tells me to press the enter key, which says only once, so I'm going to press the enter key once, and then I'm going to paste what I have copied. So again, there's multiple ways to paste, and I think I don't have the file in there, so I'm going to have to, oh, it did paste. So I did a Control C or a Control V to paste it in there. Get back where they didn't tell me to put a space in there. 3E says delete the extra paragraph breaks between the first 4 paragraphs and at the end of the document. So it's telling me to get rid of this space. 1, 2, 3. And then it tells me to do it at the end of the document as well. Alright. So I just hit the delete key when I was down in this area, and it got me to the end of the last word, which is evaluation. Step 4 says select the entire document and apply the following formatting changes. 4A says change after paragraph spacing to 12 point. Alright, so I'm going to go to my Home tab, Paragraph group, and open up the Paragraph Launcher. And I'm going to stay in the Indents and Spacing tab. If I go down to Spacing, I see I have before and after. It tells me to put the after as 12 point. And then it tells me to change the line spacing to 1.15. So right now it's set to 1.15 or 1.08, so I'm going to change it to 1.15 and change the font and font size to Calibri and 10-point font. If I select everything, font. It says 10 point. Alright, now I'm at a good point where I want to save my document, so I'm just going to click the floppy drive up there. Okay, step 5 says type and format the heading lines in the memorandum. Turn on the ShowHide. So ShowHide is located on the Home tab in the Paragraph group, and it looks like a backwards P. So I'm going to turn that on, and you're going to see all of the spacing that was done, and if the enter key was entered or selected, you'll see that as well. So you see the end of a paragraph, and you might not be able to see it because it's small, but in between each word that has a space, there's a little dot in between there. 5B says place your insertion point at the beginning of the document and press enter. So I'm going to press Control Home because right now my insertion point's here. So if I want to go to the beginning of the document, I'm going to press Control Home, and that takes me up to the top of the document. 5C says place your insertion point. Oh, I forgot to hit enter for 5B. 5C says place your insertion point on the blank line at the beginning of the document and type the following memo information. Press tab once or twice after the guide words to line up information at 1 inch, and press enter once at the end of the first 3 lines of the memo heading. So it tells me to go up to that top line, and then I'm going to start typing, and it tells me to press tab and then press it twice, see if it lines up properly. All S P C C D. I'll press enter once. Current date. Today's date is March 1st, 2021. Alright, that takes care of 5C. And it says press enter once at the end of the first 3 lines of the memo heading. So I'm going to press enter once. Alright, 5D says on the first line of the memo heading, change the before paragraph spacing to 24 point. So I'm at the first line of the memo heading, right where it says 2. Go to my home tab, paragraph group, open up the paragraph launcher, and I'm going to change that to 24 points. Alright. 5E says on the subject line of the memo heading, change the after paragraph spacing to 18 point. So I'm going to put my insertion point right on subject line, and I'm going to go to my home tab, paragraph group, and open up the paragraph launcher again, and it tells me to make the after paragraph spacing 18 point. Alright, and you can see it's making some minor changes. Alright, that takes care of step 5. Step 6 says spell and grammar check the entire document. 6A says add the chancellor's first and last names to the dictionary if they are marked as potential spelling errors. So, our first name. So to do that, I see that Microsoft Word thinks that the chancellor's first name is incorrect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my insertion point right at the beginning of her name. I'm going to right mouse click and select add to dictionary, and you see the little red line, scribble line up under her name disappears because I added that name to the dictionary. Now the dictionary recognizes that as a correct spelling. 6B says correct other spelling and grammar errors as necessary. So there's access, assessment, I don't know what that word is, backgrounds, ages. Alright, that takes care of the spell check and the grammar. Need to change that to... Alright, step 7 says apply formatting to a paragraph heading and use the format painter to copy formatting. select the first paragraph heading, which says access, in the body of the memo, and apply the following formatting. So I'm going to select access right here, and it says the font style is bold. So I'm going to go to the Home tab, go to my font group, and select bold. The font color is blue gray text 2. So I'm still on my Home tab. I'm in the font group still, and I'm going to click the drop down arrow for the font color, and it tells me to select blue gray text 2. So blue gray text 2 lighter. Nope. There it is, right at the top. Alright. That takes care of the style and the color. Underline, it says double underline. So I'm still on my Home tab in the font group. I'm going to click the drop down menu for the underline, and then I'm going to select double underline. Underline color is blue gray text 2. So again, still on the Home tab in the font group, clicking my drop down arrow to go to underline color, and I'm going to select blue gray text 2, and the effects is small caps. So let's see, nope, that's increased. So I'm Home tab, font group, select the font launcher, and I'm going to select small caps. And I could have done all of that in this font launcher. Guess I wanted to do it the long way. And click OK. Alright, that takes care of step 7. Actually, there's a B for step 7. Sorry about that. 7B says use the format painter to apply these styles to each of the other paragraph headings in the body of the memo. So while I have the word access selected, I'm going to go to my Home tab, clipboard group, and I'm going to double click format painter. And I'm going to select here, and I'm going to select this header here, student learning outcome. I'm going to select diversity, community development, human resources. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to deselect the format painter, because I want you to see what happens when you only single click the format painter. So I'm going to single click format painter here, and I'm going to go to my next header or heading, and I'm going to select it. So you see the format painter is not selected anymore when I do a single click. When I do a double click, that allows me to change as much as I want without having to keep going up to the format painter every time I do one heading. So again, I'm going to click on format painter, single click it, and I'm going to scroll down to innovation and risk taking, and I'm going to do it. So once I let go of the left mouse click, you're going to see that format painter in the clipboard group. You see it's shaded now, but once I click it, you see the shading goes away. That's because each time you want to use that format painter, you have to go up here. That's why I did a double click. So I do a double click, I select fiscal responsibility. You see it changed fiscal responsibility, but the format painter is still selected. Then I'm going to select evaluation, and you see format painter still there. To disable format painter, you just click on it again, and you see the shadings going away. So I'm at a good point where I'm going to save my document. Alright, back to step 8, move body paragraphs. 8A says use cut and paste or drag and drop to move the body paragraphs so they are ordered alphabetically by paragraph heading. Exclude the first body paragraph. Be sure to include the paragraph symbol at the end of each paragraph when cutting and dragging. So I'm going to put these in alphabetical order. So this one, evaluation, I'm going to select the whole area, right mouse click, select cut, V comes before X. So I'm going to go up to excellence, I'm going to hit the enter key and paste. Alright, next thing, D comes after, it comes before E. Alright, C comes before D. Nope, that word comes before that. So one thing the instructions say is make sure you get that paragraph set, that paragraph. And I'll show you what it's going to do if you don't select it. So if I was just to select it up to the word opportunities and then the period and then cut, I'm going to do a Control X to cut. You see that paragraph symbol still there. And if I move it down at the bottom, I did put one there, but it left that space where it was before. So that's why you want to make sure you select that paragraph symbol as well. So fiscal responsibility, well, this would be a good one to test to show you what I'm talking about. So if I do everything except for the paragraph symbol and I move that right here where human resources is, you see how it kept human resources in there. It didn't give you a space. It didn't move human resources down. So that's the importance of copying that whole section, including the paragraph symbol. So C, D, E, F, H, I. Okay, that's in alphabetical order. Okay, 8B says verify there are no extra enter paragraph marks between paragraphs at the end of the document. This document will fit on one page. So we're still using one page. And I can see down here where it says page 1 of 1, that tells me I still have one page. So I'm going to go ahead and save my document. C says verify there are no extra spaces before the first word of each paragraph. So if I look, there's no, so what it's saying is, you see there's space there. I take away that dot. So I see that there are no extra spaces at the beginning of each section. All right. Number 9 says delete any extra blank lines at the end of the document so this document fits on one page. So again, I already know that it's fitting on one page because I'm looking down here in the bottom left hand corner and it tells me that I'm on page 1 of 1. So number 9's done. Number 10 says add the following document properties. 10A says title. So to get to the document property, I need to go to the file to get to the backstage, and over here on the right hand side where it says properties, I'm going to select show all properties, and it says change the title to be SP 10E says, or 10B says, the company needs to be changed to Sierra Pacific Community College District. C says the author should be, I won't even try to pronounce that name. It says right click and choose remove person to remove existing author. So we'll go down here. It tells me to get rid of that person. Right mouse click on Dr. Randy Nordale. And it tells me to put YOON space SOO Park. And that's the author. And then 11 says save and close the document. But before I save and close the document, I want to confirm that it looks the way it should. And figure 1-98 shows me how it should look once it's done. So let me get out of the backstage and actually go back to the document and just make sure that it looks the way it should look. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Let me see. I need to get rid of that. Okay, so I got rid of that extra space there. That looks good. Alright. Looks like everything looks correct. I'm going to save my document again since I got rid of that extra space right there. But that's pretty much it for Microsoft Word Independent Project 1-5.